Montana This Morning continues on Montana's News Leader.
800,000 federal workers can expect to get paid this week now that the longest partial government shutdown in U.S. history is over. I'm Mark Liverman, and I'll tell you why leaders need to work fast or another shutdown will be just around the corner.
Could there be future development next to Bozeman Second High School? I'm Adair Spab, and stick with us because I have the answer coming up next.
Just ahead of 6:30 on this Monday, Chet Lehman, Matt Elwell with you here. Missy is off today, and she picked a good day to take off. It's a little cold and a little slick to get into work this morning.
That's really my big issue is some of the ice on some of the area roadways. A few of these area roadways just polished up real nice.
Yeah, they're shiny.
So watch those roads early on. Temperatures into the teens and 20s. The wind chill has been a factor, so leave some extra layers in the car just in case you have an issue. Temperature-wise, we're doing okay. It's still very cold, and I do expect some colder temperatures over the course of the next couple of days, especially as you move into the evening hours. Daytime highs into the 20s with plenty of sunshine today. We'll talk about what you can expect in upcoming days in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Matt. 6:30 now. Weather top story this half hour. One man dead due to an avalanche in the tobacco roots on Friday. Madison County Sheriff's Office says a little after 1:30 it received a call about an avalanche that happened in the Bell Lake area south of Pony in the Tobacco Root Mountains. As a result of the avalanche, one skier injured. 35-year-old Benjamin Hirsch McShane from San Francisco died on the scene. The U.S. Forest Service, Gallen County Search and Rescue, and other groups helped with body recovery. Back on the national scene, now that the partial government shutdown is over, 800,000 federal employees can expect to get paid this week. But as CBS's Mark Liverman reports, another shutdown may be just around the corner.
Hundreds of thousands of federal employees are back at work, and more importantly, getting paid, now that the longest government shutdown in history is over.
We hope that by the end of this week, all of the back pay will be made up, and of course, the next payroll will go out on time.
Pam Spranlin was furloughed from her job at the IRS in Ohio.
I'm glad to be going back to work. I was bored out of my mind. And I'm going back with pay.
The relief may be short-lived.
He's willing to do whatever it takes to secure the border.
Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney says President Trump is prepared to shut down the government again to get border security funding. A bipartisan group of 17 Congress members has until February 15th to negotiate a deal.
I'm reasonably optimistic.
Republican Senator Roy Blunt is one of them.
So let's get started. Let's find solutions. Let's not continue to disappoint the people we work for by not showing the ability to work together.
President Trump told the Wall Street Journal he thinks the odds of them crafting something he can accept is less than 50-50. Asked if he would take something less than $5.7 billion for a border wall, Mr. Trump said, "I doubt it." Democrats have refused to offer any money for his wall.
That's a 5th century solution to a 21st century problem. What we want to support over the next few weeks is 21st century border security.
Last week, the president said he will declare a national emergency if necessary. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
By the way, that bipartisan group meets for the first time coming up on Wednesday. We'll have more on that coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning. Well, hundreds of kids coming out of school or on their lunch break have given a developer an idea of what to build next to Bozeman Second High School, which is set to open in 2020. MTN's Medeiros Bab gives us a preview of tonight's City Commission meeting in Bozeman, where city officials hold the future of the land development in their hands.
This week, the commission will have to decide whether or not to make these 160 acres behind me part of the city limits. If they do, the next step is what goes here. Director of Community Development Marty Matson said the applicant hopes it's businesses.
I think with the increased growth out on the west side of town, I think the need for increased commercial areas like this is needed. This developer happens to be choosing this area, and I think it's probably a good bet.
The developer, Brian Klein, would like the commission to allow 130 acres of the land to be used to build homes and the remaining 30 acres that sits kitty corner from the new high school to be used for businesses. Matson said on this corner there could potentially be restaurants.
I think that's what the developer is planning, is a commercial node there that would serve not only the new high school, but the city's soccer complex is going in right across the street, and development, increased residential development in the area. try to provide some services for that end of town.
Mattson said as the years go by, the city seems to be expanding more and more out to the west. In Bozeman, Medeiros Babb, MTN News.
Now, Medeiros tells us while city officials make their decision tonight, the Bozeman School Board will be deciding the official boundary line for the new high school. We'll have updates coming up tomorrow on both those stories. Also, police have released the name of a man who was involved in a Butte high-speed chase Friday night. Sheriff Ed Lester says 29-year-old Isaac Flynn facing 5 felony counts of criminal endangerment, possession of dangerous drugs, and obstructing a peace officer. According to Sheriff Lester, police were following the car they believed to be involved in a shooting last week. After leading police on a high-speed chase uptown, Flynn ran a stop sign on the corner of Montana and Galena and then crashed into another car as well as a utility pole. Passenger in Flynn's car was the only person taken to the hospital. Flynn is also facing felony theft and possession charges out of Anaconda Deer Lodge as well. Now, more than 70 teams from all around the state of Montana were at Montana State University on Saturday, competing in the first Lego Robotics competition. MTN's Medeiros Babb takes us to the event where it's all about getting kids interested in STEM.
3, 2, 1, Lego!
The timer starts winding down as Team Brickfinity starts their Lego robot. The team only has 2 minutes and 30 seconds to complete a series of tasks before the other teams. Even though it's stressful, Noelle Engelhart is having a blast.
The satisfaction that you get when you program robots and it works successfully when it hasn't before, it just gives you a good feeling that you did something right.
Brickfinity is one of 70 teams from all over the state competing in the tournament. Organizer Christine Foreman says it is crucial to get these kids learning about technology and other life skills.
I think it's really good to teach them young and get them excited about it, and then they're not scared, right? And so, like I think about my dad, he's scared to touch things, but these kids, you can give them anything and they can pick it up and they can go for that.
For Chloe Cheddar, who sees a future in engineering, this event gives her the ability to do something she loves while bringing out her competitive spirit.
I like engineering and robotics and it interests me a lot, and it's a lot of fun working together, and when it works it is so rewarding, so I think that's one of the most fun parts.
Every student that competed in the tournament got a medal, but for those who placed, they got an extra special Lego trophy. In Bozeman, Medeiros Babb, MTN News.
By the way, the championship teams, they now advance to the World Festival in Houston, Texas. Now, this week under the big sky, Evan Helly and his father John have changed the way they raise sheep and sell wool. Together, the pair run Duckworth, an innovative wool clothing company from their ranch outside Dillon.
Under the Big Sky is sponsored by Rocky Mountain Vein Clinic and Markovich Real Estate.
Duckworth is the only source-verified merino apparel company in the United States. Everything we do, we use our motto from sheep to shelf. All the wool comes from the ranch here and stays within the United States. Pretty short supply chain going from here in Dillon, Montana, down to the Carolinas, and then making a quick trip back, then gets distributed from here.
Wool is just an amazing fiber. Those coarser wool sweaters that your grandma had and and grandpa wore, those are, we don't have that anymore in our wool. We select everything for super high comfort.
It's so soft that people can't believe it's wool. We're trying to make an assortment of clothing not really specifically made to match a business model, but it's made to match our wool production. We use all the different types of wool that a sheep produces itself. Some wool is great for socks, and other wool is great for high performance base layer. And I think that's really important, carrying our model forward. We make everything from tops and bottoms for wearing next to skin, socks, fleece mid layers, and even wool insulated puffy jackets. Most products produced in ranches are commodities. They go into mass markets, maybe exported, maybe not, you don't really know. What's so great about Duckworth is you can see exactly the end product that came from your work. It's very rewarding to see that.
Now you can watch this Under the Big Sky bonus and all the previous stories by visiting underthebigsky.com. And of course, you can see the Helly's Lambs if you head into Dillon. We're going to take a quick break here on Montana This Morning. When we come back, we head to church in Cuba, the first time Catholics in this country could do that since the Revolution. We have the details. But first, some details about what's ahead on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, for the first time since the 35-day shutdown ended, the U.S. government is up and running, but it may not stay that way. We'll look at the efforts to prevent another shutdown. And Dr. Tara Narula with a new campaign to regulate teen vaping and ways to prevent your child from getting hooked. We'll see you at 7.